My dog is so unpredictable. 3 good days in a row, no reaction at all. Then we pass something that's never even been a trigger before, and he blows up. I never know what the next trigger will be. I hear some version of this almost every week. From where you're standing, it looks random. You scan the environment for what you might have missed, feeling like your own dog is ambushing you. But that seemingly ordinary object on the sidewalk wasn't the actual cause of the reaction. It was merely the final tipping point in a long chain of events that started days ago. To find the pattern in the unpredictable, we have to stop focusing on the exact moment of the explosion and start looking at the invisible buildup that preceded it. Think about walking in the door after a brutal day at work. You're exhausted, and if someone asks you one more question, you might snap, not because that person did anything wrong, but because you have nothing left to give. Now think about the next morning. After coffee and sleep, you can handle 3 times as much pressure before hitting that same edge. Your dog works the same way. Every dog has a working capacity for handling the world, a resource that fills up across the day and empties out with rest. This capacity is personal. A dog who is fearful or has experienced trauma often starts with a smaller tank that fills up faster. This isn't a permanent ceiling, though. Thoughtful, positive work actually expands that capacity over time, allowing the dog to handle more than they could before. We label these reactions unpredictable because we haven't learned to see the moment the tank actually runs dry. To see how this works, we need to rewind the clock. We're going to look back at those 3 good days and see what was actually happening to your dog's capacity. Day 1 looks great from the outside. You have visitors over, a high-intensity play session, and a few big training wins. All of these events, even the joyful ones, elevate the heart rate and lock the body into a state of high arousal. Because the nervous system uses the same physiological resources to process excitement as it does to process stress, that wonderful day still draws heavily from the dog's available capacity. Recovery from that state takes longer than it looks. Even when a dog settles down and appears physically calm on the rug, their internal stress hormones can take 24 to 48 hours to return to a true baseline. This means on day 2, your dog wakes up with a tank that is already half full before they even step out the door. On day 2, you pass a trigger. Your dog stays under threshold, checks in with you, and looks calm. You think, great, he's doing well. What we often miss is that coping is not free. Staying calm around a trigger requires constant self-regulation and impulse control. It's a quiet mental marathon that drains capacity just as fast as a visible reaction would. It's easy to misinterpret this visible calm as a sign the dog is ready for more. Often, the opposite is true. They are spending everything they have just to stay level. By day 3, the cumulative demand of those good days has left the dog running on empty. They haven't made a single behavioral mistake yet, but their capacity is gone. Those 3 good days weren't a mystery. They were a period of your dog quietly spending down resources until nothing was left for day 4. That brings us to the explosion. When your dog reacts to something minor on day 4, it's simply because that was the next thing that happened after the capacity hit 0. This realization should be a relief. It means your dog isn't broken, and you didn't miss something obvious. You just didn't have the full story yet. Now you have a new protocol. After a reaction, look backward. Focus on the 72-hour window preceding the event. Scan for those hidden costs, the exciting outings, the demanding training, and the moments where your dog was quietly coping. Tracking that buildup changes a random ambush into a legible pattern that you can actually work with. The solution to a full tank is genuine recovery. That means days with no demands, no training, and no triggers. We have to view this recovery as a core part of the process. Rest carries the same weight as training and management. Without it, the tank stays full, and training will never be as effective as it could be. Consistent recovery time is what allows that baseline capacity to actually grow, making your dog more resilient over the long term. When we shift our focus to capacity, the unpredictable dog starts to make sense. Next week, we'll see how management acts as the primary tool for protecting the capacity you're building. If this helped you see your dog's patterns more clearly, please like, share, and subscribe to Hero Dogs Clubhouse.